Welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is another episode of Cottage Talk today. This is my 15th straight day of doing an episode of Cottage Talk, talking Fulham. Want to prove the point that you can talk Fulham each and every day. And for the month of January, I will be doing a show every day. That's the plan. And to be honest with you, I've enjoyed it. I did it 2 years ago. It can take a lot out of me, but I do enjoy doing it. It's not a long show. This show would be about 15 to 20 minutes, but I certainly get a lot out of it. And I'm just trying to prove a point. You can talk Fulham every day. I believe that. Other shows that follow other teams do it. So why can't Fulham have a show that talks about them each and every day? Today's show will revolve around what Marco said at his presser before the Leeds United match. And the funny thing about it is I'm really not going to be talking too much about the Leeds United match. I'll be leaving that for tomorrow. This will be some of the other stories to come out of it. So if you're a Leeds United supporter looking for information, what Marco said about Leeds United, you won't get that today. Maybe you'll get that tomorrow. But you'll get some interesting information in regards to Harry Wilson that I'll be sharing on this episode. Want to mention that after this episode is done, I'm streaming live on 3 different platforms. I will be deleting 2 of them. It'll still be up on YouTube. But to hear the podcast, if you want to hear back this discussion on what Marco said at his presser, you're going to have to subscribe to the Cottage Talk Patreon page. It'll be exclusively there as a podcast. And I would really appreciate if you join us. I do want to mention, if you are concerned that you won't be able to listen on your app on your phone, you'll be able to. You just have to enable it once you become a paid member on Patreon. It's very easy to do. So you can go on your iPhone and, like I do right now, and listen to episodes on Patreon on your iPhone through that Apple app, that Apple Podcast app. That's actually how I listen back to my shows. So just want to mention that if you're concerned about that. Also, in the month of January, I've challenged people to join the Cottage Talk Patreon page. If I can get up to 50, not up to 50 new members, I will do Cottage Talk today until the end of the season. So I am doing it through January. But if you want more, I hope people will join us. It takes a lot out of me, and to do it, I would need 50 additional members. So just want to mention that. And in case you were not aware of it. Okay. So now on with the show, and to share information that I learned from Marco's presser today. And I want to give a lot of credit. Thankfully, Fulham supporters have journalist Jack Kelly, who does a wonderful job covering the team and goes to the pressers and gets quotes. And what's great is that I can share the quotes with you. So I'm going to share them now. If you're watching live, you're going to see the quotes from Jack Kelly's X account. I'm just going to go through them because I find the topics very interesting, and I'm going to comment on them. So let's start with the first one, and that is actually team news. So I'm going to start with team news. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So Marco shared this on team news. Quote, the last game the 3 players at AFCON will miss. Josh King could be back in contention another session tomorrow. Still be too early for Kenny Muniz. Middle of February, we could see him back. Nice to see him back on the pitch. He's getting better, unquote. So I actually want to mention this. I actually watched Montsport Park Life. I'm sure people have seen that. And I got to see Josh King and got to see Rodrigo Muniz training with the team. These are positive signs. Doesn't sound like Rodrigo's going to be back until mid-February, but we kind of knew that already. Josh King could be back for the Leeds United match, and that would be fantastic news. We probably will not know that until 90 minutes, or it's not 90 minutes, it's 75 minutes before the match. I'm thinking about another sport. But that would be a positive if Josh King was available to play against Leeds United. And one other thing we already knew is that the AFCON players are playing on Saturday, so they will miss another match, but they'll be back next week, and that is huge news. So we only have one more match to miss these three players, but that also makes it very interesting for Fulham against Leeds United, because I think having all these players out has brought the team together. The players are fighting for each other, made it even a tighter knit of a squad. And there's a lot of positives to take out of what Fulham have done without these players. And hopefully they're going to get Kenny Tete back as well. I do think that they miss him. So, again, all good stuff from Marco's presser. The big news is obviously Josh King. He could be in contention, and that would be massive for Fulham if he is. So let's move on from that. Let's now talk about transfers, because I'm sure everyone is thinking about what is Fulham doing with transfers. So I'm going to share this now, what Marco said about transfers. Again, this is coming from Jack Kelly. Quote, everything we try and do this January, we are relying on it. We are completely aligned. For me, it's tougher than the summer. If you sign players, they have to make an impact, not just short term, for the long term. January is more complicated, unquote. Okay. Good amount to unpack here. So what's interesting about these comments and other comments I've seen from Marco is not acting like a manager who's leaving this summer. Now, nothing has been done with his contract officially. I don't know what's going on here. Again, I've heard things, but again, it's just speculation. But he's not acting like a manager that's leaving. He's talking about the long term. He's talking about impact players. This is all the stuff I want to hear, because I want Fulham to bring in 3 impact players in January. But here's the thing. It shouldn't be for the short term. And I'm glad that Marco mentioned that. It should be not just for the here and now, but for the long term. And players that are going to make a difference to take Fulham over the top to get into Europe, but then to build for the future. That's what's interesting about this quote from Marco, because, like I mentioned, he's talking and acting like a manager who's got a long future with Fulham Football Club. That's what I'm saying, if I'm reading between the lines, but nothing's been done about his contract yet. So everything is still up in the air, but he's acting like he is coming back. We shall see how this all plays out. So that's another big topic that has come out of this presser. Let's move on to a couple of other topics that will interest Fulham supporters and maybe supporters of other clubs. Maybe this one will interest Ipswich Town supporters. So Silva shared this. Again, this is coming from Jack Kelly on Tom Kearney, and I'll share this with everyone. This is what he said. Silva on TC, quote, I'm always a believer he can prolong his career in a Fulham shirt. This year will be more or less the same thing. TC right now with another year is the same player that he was last year. I don't see why he can't have another year or more with us, unquote. And then there's another quote, Silva on TC leaving. I don't see it in quotations happening. To end his career in a Fulham shirt will be something special, whether that's in 1, 2, 3 seasons. I don't know, unquote. So those are a couple of very interesting quotes from Marco Silva. Here's another one from Jack Kelly in regards to TC. Quote, the best case scenario for Tom, if it's going to be possible, is for him to end his career at Fulham in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years' time. I don't know when. It's going to be special for him. And it's going to be special for the fans as well, unquote. Okay. So, again, Tom Kearney's contract is up at the end of the season. So that is still up in the air. And sounds like Marco Silva really wants him back. And again, he's talking like a coach that hopes that his player is still going to be with him, even though Marco's contract is up in the summer as well. But I'm reading between the. I know I'm going to be reading between the lines here, but it sounds like a situation where Marco is trying to push for Tom Kearney to stay. I don't see him making this move now. I don't. Maybe in the summer, I'm talking about Tom Kearney. And what Fulham should be doing, in my opinion, go year to year with Tom Kearney. That's what I would do. If he's still the same player, then he comes back another year. Tom Kearney will be and already is. I shouldn't say will be. He's a Fulham legend, right? So as long as he's performing at the level that he's currently performing at, you bring him back. But again, the club and Tom Kearney have to come to an agreement on that. So everything is up in the air. But Marco Silva sounds like a manager that wants Tom Kearney back. And I think most Fulham supporters would like Tom Kearney to end his career in a Fulham shirt. I'm speaking for myself. That's what I would want. Okay. So final topic from his presser that I'm going to share today is on Harry Wilson. And if there are Leeds United supporters watching or listening, they're not going to like this part, but I really don't care. So this is what Jack Kelly wrote on his X account coming from Marco Silva's presser. Silva on Wilson, quote, "Zero chance for him to leave the club in January. No chance," unquote. You can't be more solid than that. Harry Wilson's going nowhere. If you're Leeds United and you think you got a chance, I think Marco Silva basically said you have no chance. So I think that was a very strong statement from Marco Silva on Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson is now entering his prime. So for me, Fulham have a lot of work to do in regards to contracts. Harry Wilson, Marco Silva, Ryan Sessegnon. Fulham need to get their acting gear and get these two players and the manager, yes, I'm saying the manager too, to sign a new agreement. And it's funny because I've been open with my thoughts on wanted the sides to part ways at the end of the summer. But if Marco continues to change the way that he manages, I would be fine with Marco staying. I just want Marco to grow as a manager and self-evaluate. I'm starting to notice a little bit of that. And as Tony Gold mentioned to me, maybe if he has more options, you'll see more changes, not like for like. So I'm open to change my mind because I've said that about a month ago. I will be happy to have him back if Marco continues to go on this path. And I know it would be beneficial to Fulham. With the situation just hanging in the balance, I don't think it's good for Fulham Football Club right now with Marco's contract. But like I said, I'd be happy if he comes back, if he signs a new deal. If again, my preference was for the sides to move on. Like I said, I can change my mind, and what I'm seeing is already starting to change my mind. He is starting to change his ways a little bit, so I'm open for that. And if he gets Fulham into Europe and wants to stay, who am I to say that's the wrong move for the club? I'm certainly not the one to say that. And I am willing to change my mind. I'm not married to one view. I can be proven wrong. And right now, Marco's on the path to proving me wrong. And I'll be happy to be wrong. That's because Fulham Football Club will benefit from it. But I'm not going to back down what I said even just a while ago that I said on this show I wanted Marco and Fulham to part ways. But my mind can be changed, and it's starting to be changed because of what I'm seeing on the pitch, what I'm seeing, the moves Marco's making, and also what Tony had said to me about options. What if he had options? I get it now. And like I said, I am seeing changes, and that's encouraging. It's very encouraging. But what's also very encouraging is that Harry Wilson's going nowhere. It's a good way to end this quick episode of the show. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Cottage Talk today. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. My name is Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk.